What's up, Schwartz Force? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I have another special guest with me here today, my buddy P. Ross. This is a man I respect deeply and got to know through Miguel with SoCal Watch Reviews. I did another, obviously talk with him, which you can check out up here if you haven't seen it yet. And Miguel and P. Ross, you guys run your podcast. So
yes, sir.
You had me on the show a while back, and I really appreciate that. And so now I'm pleased to bring you on to my show, so to speak. But also, shout out to Straps Co. because P. Ross is a fellow ambassador for Straps Co. So I just want to make a little introduction there. But tell us a little bit about yourself, P, for the people that maybe haven't found out about you yet.
Yo, my name is P. Ross, hailing from Cincinnati, Ohio, Southern Ohio. You know what I mean? Watch guy, music guy, movie guy, Star Wars nerd, all of that. You know what I mean?
Awesome guy.
We have a separate YouTube channel, The Purple Underground, which strictly deals with music. Ross Wristwatch Love deals with watches. Sometimes we may break down some sneaker stuff. You know what I'm saying? Even man bags and wallets and stuff like that, leather goods.
Cool.
But for the most part, it's watches, and
yeah. I really enjoy your work too, because like you said, you kind of have some random things you sprinkle in here and there, your sneakers, other reviews, which is always awesome to see. For me, I try and do the same thing. I'll put a couple non-watch related videos here and there.
Right.
And I'm gonna link P. Ross's channel up here and also in the description. So you guys, let's get P to 1,000. So please go check out his channel. If you're not already subscribed to him, send him some love. And I'll put his Instagram down below too, so you can kind of get a heads up of some other things going on behind the scenes with P. Ross and his collecting. So
yes, sir. Yeah, shout out to the Schwartz Force. You know what I mean? Schwartz Force is awesome. You know what I'm saying? Hella respect for you, bruh. And
thanks,
what you doing. And thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for taking some time to come on. And hey, in case you guys didn't know, it's a great day to wear a watch. So let's do a wristwatch check. P, what do you got? What do you got on today?
The Albany Alma Diver.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I've seen that popping up a little, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great watch, man. You know what I mean?
Cool.
I didn't really notice it till I took the first shot of it, and just to look at the blue dial and how great it looked. It's awesome.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing your kind of thoughts on that coming up soon.
Right.
And I am rocking my Bulova. This is the 96K 101, which is a reissue they did for the vintage. It was called the Stars and Stripes Chronograph C.
Right.
So this is a really cool big watch. And the reason I'm wearing this is because it's kind of a blend of some topics that I wanted to go over with you. This is a 46 mil, but it has no lugs. It's lugless design. So it wears a little bit better on my wrist size, which is 7-inch. So, but it's also kind of blending vintage with modern with that reissue. So let's just start our topics. We'll go with the first one, which I wanted to learn because you have a really extensive collection from what I've heard, and like over 100 watches. Is that there? It is proof in the pudding.
Right
there.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to know like wrist watch sizing, and because you have a blend of vintage, and then you have obviously some more modern stuff, some Invictas I know in your collection. Right. So like, tell me a little bit with your watch journey. Like, where did you start? Like, brand wise, and then size wise, did you go bigger to smaller to bigger, or where did it?
Well, interestingly enough, it started with Timex.
Okay.
My father bought me a Timex like when I was like 14 years old.
Okay.
And when you're young, you don't appreciate the things that you have until you get grown. You know what I mean? So I have no clue about what the Timex was. All I know is that it was a Manuine Timex. You know what I mean? And it was nice. And I kind of babied that thing. I had like a glass mirror with like a stand on it. I would put it up there, you know what I mean? And like spray it down and clean it when it, stuff like that.
You babied it.
Right. So it went from there to just like going to like any store, and I would just see a watch and be like, I like that watch. It didn't have to have a name on it because I wasn't really aware of that at the time.
Right.
At the time, I was really just aware of like shoes and Star Wars and music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I knew I liked watches, but that didn't come till later. So as things rocked on, and I really have to give my wife credit for a lot of stuff, because she has accepted everything that I do without judgment. You know what I mean? So
shout out.
Right.
So Mrs. P. Ross, yeah.
Yes. So if she would see a watch, we've been together for 30 years.
Oh, nice.
So
all right.
If she would see a watch, you know what I mean? She would just get it. You know what I mean? Be like, here. You know, it didn't necessarily have to have no name. It could be a Walmart watch. This is like in the early 90s.
Right,
stuff like that. So it rocked on. So then I started getting this thing with Timex where I would buy Timex. And then I would buy Casios. Mm-hmm. Now, the first Invicta I ever got may have been like 2010, something like that. Invicta Speciality.
Okay.
I still got it, but
somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, but and it's a 44 millimeter. Mm-hmm. Not really that big, but matter of fact, I got it on my Instagram page. The one that I had on in the pool.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that video or not. The one I had on in the pool, that's it right there.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So, and she bought that.
So you still rock it even, out and about?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Absolutely.
Okay.
Then I got into the bigger size Invictus, right? You know, like, the Venoms and the Sea Dragons.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And they were great. Like, I'm not going to knock Invictus.
I can't either.
They were great because they great with streetwear. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But somewhere around 5 or 6 years ago, I don't know what happened. I started veering away from the Invicta thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I started buying like smaller size watches, like Seikos. Belova was another one. Shoot, got all kind of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? But my first vintage watch, I actually went from larger to smaller.
Okay. That's what I was curious on. Yeah. Right. It's what size wrist do you have?
7 1/4.
7 1/4. Okay.
7 1/4. But with that being said, like an Invicta, a Venom looked good on my wrist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a big guy. Right. But I went from bigger to smaller, and I'm like, wow, this actually looks like a girl's watch on me. You know what I mean? Like 36 millimeter. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Even smaller than that, you start to kind of question, like,
Right. So then I said, well, you know what? I'm going to make it work. I started buying different straps, you know what I'm saying? Trying to trick them out, make them look good. And the vintage thing has been like one of the greatest things for me because last year, I think it was last year, mm-hmm. my wife found me the vintage Omega Seamaster DeVille.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Right. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. And the price was amazing.
Nice.
Price was freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And I put it on and I'm like, okay, I can do this, you know. From there, the vintage thing is like a rabbit hole. You just keep going down and down and down and down.
Yeah.
And as some people say you hit rock bottom, I haven't hit rock bottom yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually going through watch buyer's withdrawal right now.
Really? Because your Certina was your last one, right?
Right. And I'm seeing stuff and I'm like, no, I don't want to get it. Should I get it? Mm-hmm. I'm looking at a Gerard Perigo right now. I'm like, oh yeah. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But as far as the sizing, I went from 50 millimeters now to around, I rock like a 34, between 34 and 42.
Dang, yeah. Okay.
I do that, yeah.
At 34, I feel like I've hit my comfort has been 36. Mm-hmm. I haven't gone under 36 as far as what I would wear. But one thing I've noticed is if you just spend some time, I think it's almost like a mental kind of just getting accustomed to it. Like when we were younger, and I'll use myself as an example, like I also own some big Invictas and some Fossils and just these big watches, Diesel, where you're like, it looks good, the wrist presence, and like if it looks good to you, you don't care about anything else. You don't realize that it's oversized or it's too big, you know. So you just but then when you go the other way, like I wore, you know, that little Date Just homage that I have is I think the smallest one, or I have a vintage Timex too, and they're if you wear it for a week, you get used to it. You kind of realize like, you know what, it's not that it looks bad, it's just not big. So
yeah, for sure.
You got to kind of, I guess, get accustomed to that. And I had a buddy, one of my subscribers, and he emailed me and he was like telling me like, hey, he has bigger wrists. He's like, can you maybe get some bigger stuff on the channel? And I'm thinking like, if I can, like, I'll definitely try, right? Like, I don't mind trying to get some 46 mil, 47 mil stuff on, but I have a 7-inch wrist, so I don't know if it's going to really look good.
Right. Well, if you need me to, I can send you a Venom.
Okay. All right. I'll think about it. I had that one Invicta collection I reviewed from Mike. He had a Venom in there, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, it's a cool looking watch. Like, love it or hate it. The Venom is the bomb. The Venom is the bomb, man. Yeah. Yeah. It's just, again, it's wrapping around your wrist like it's different kind of watch.
But I think as you grow, like as I've grown, I've learned different things. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think I know my comfort zone now.
Right. And that 34 to 42, that encompasses a whole bunch of watches.
Right.
So
yeah, for sure.
I feel for the people that are smaller wristed, where they can't pull off a lot of these watches that are popular, and that's where I kind of feel like that's probably, it must get frustrating, because if you have a 6 1/4 inch wrist and you're trying to wear a 42 that has a 51 mil lug to lug, like it's just ain't gonna work.
Yeah. What's so crazy about that is I was just on Instagram and I saw a guy with the Monaco on, Tag Heuer Monaco.
Okay. Yeah.
Square one, and it looked so big on his wrist.
Those square cases, man.
Right. And he had like a small wrist. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, okay, I can go small with a big wrist.
Yeah.
But you can't go big with a small wrist.
Yeah. It's kind of it just doesn't look good. Once it's overhanging. But that's where I talked to, I don't know if it was Average Joe or it might have been Miguel. I was talking to someone about, I think in maybe in Asia, where some of these watches are coming out of, like, they're basing it on the fashion aspect of larger being better. Right. But it's kind of like here in the watch community, here in our echo chamber, we're like, give me 39, give me 40 mil.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And I'm good, like, all day. Yeah, but they're throwing out 42, 43, 44, and everyone's like, like, it looks good, but can I wear it?
Can we go smaller, a little bit smaller?
just a little bit, guys. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Well, it definitely sounds like you kind of went down the path that a lot of us do, right? Timex, Casio, absolutely. Invicta, and then you start to kind of learn about other watch brands. And
and I think, like, for me, I know a lot of Invicta guys stay into Invicta, and that's fine, but it's just more out there to learn. Like, if you're a watch guy, Invicta got a couple movements with Salida moving in it, even the ETA, whatever. Right. But it's more out there, and for those that can hear my voice, look for more, man, because watches are awesome, and especially when you get to the history of watches, you know what I mean? It's great. It's great.
Oh yeah. Looking for more is like, so I'm kind of in the opposite end of you. Like, you're going through watch buying, like, withdraw, and I'm trying to not buy. I'm trying to save up. And so, like, kind of looking for more is a perfect segue into this next topic, which I had for us, which is watches you would like to have for 2021. And I know we're just starting out, so there's some stuff that may not even be released yet, or might be not announced, but anything on your radar that you're kind of keeping an eye out for?
Well, I have 6 watches.
6
for this year.
Okay. Already
that I really want. And a couple of these carry over from last year too. So,
okay.
First is the Seiko 1963.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That thing, the case back on that thing looks great. Like, I want that watch so much, but I'm gonna wait for the next AliExpress sale to get it half off. I would have got it this time from what was the last 11/11?
I think they did. Well, that was the big one, and I think probably Black Friday. And then Cyber Monday.
11/11. I had got the Courgette Flieger.
Yeah,
I wanted that one really bad, but the Seagull 1963 is definitely on my radar.
Now, do you want the classic design one? Because I know that they use that movement in a lot of other, like they have a panda, reverse panda.
Right.
But do you want that?
No, I just want the classic design.
Yeah. Nice.
The classic design. The next one is the Belova Lunar Pilot.
Okay. Wow. That's
you know what I mean?
That's a pretty pricey one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But a great watch. Yeah. Do you want the black PVD or the stainless steel?
Stainless steel.
Nice.
All in stainless. Then I have my eye on a vintage Omega Constellation.
Oh, yes.
It can be quartz, it could be electric, it could be mechanical, as long as it's a Constellation, automatic, whatever. I got to have one.
So let me ask on the Constellation, because I've had my eye on some, but I've yet to pick any up. But I really like the Pan version with the gold indices. They're kind of like diamond shaped. Oh man, is that the same that you're looking for, or a different dial?
It doesn't matter.
Do you want a Constellation?
I just want a Constellation. I really like the vintage aesthetic of all of them.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But that's a pretty pricey one too.
So let me take a step back, P, because I wanted to. So the Lunar Pilot, what about it? Like, tell me a little bit more on why that watch.
Well, of course, one, it was on the moon, but but
so that horological,
right? The black dial, you know what I mean? It just, I feel like, and I think it's like 44 millimeters, something like that. It's a pretty big watch.
It's big, but I think it kind of like the it's the lug to lug. I think that kills some watch or wrist sizes.
Right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I think it would look great on my wrist.
I think
really
so too.
Do.
Oh yeah,
I really do. You know, and I can switch it up. You know what I'm saying? I think it look good on a NATO strap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You can even put on a black leather strap. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
you know,
have some fun with it.
Right, but like the just the history behind it, just like it's crazy. One of the astronauts, I guess, his crystal popped off of his Omega, and he had the Lunar Pilot and just threw that bad boy on. You know, so
it's a go-to. Man. It's definitely like, and I know some guys out there, they have to have both. They got to have the Omega and the Lunar Pilot Belova. So, you know, it's whatever level you want to take it to. It's
Well,
I remember when
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
You know what I'm saying? I would love to have an Omega Seamaster. Not Seamaster, Speedmaster. Moon watch, but hey, it's a little bit out of my price range right now.
It is.
But you know, it's a lot of great homages out there. But we'll get into that later.
Of course, yeah. So I when I was getting into starting my journey, I came across the Lunar Pilot 2, and it was just at that time, spending over $300 on a watch was just out of the question, right? And now I'm kind of like, if I can find a good deal, I feel like it doesn't hurt to spend more.
Right.
Which is scary to think that I'd be willing to let more money go into watches, but it's also making me a little more objective in my purchasing. So I'm not as
absolutely
willy-nilly like, oh, let me buy this $50. Oh, that's $100. Oh, that's $200. Like, no big deal. Now I'm like, oh, that's a $400, $500 watch. Like, let me think about this.
Would you buy used or would you buy new?
You know, both, but with the exception of I try to only buy new if it's not available used, or more importantly, if it's a watch I really know I will keep. And the reason I've learned that over time is because the new watches that are still available, when you go to sell, if you have buyer's remorse or the honeymoon phase is over, guess what? You're going to take a bath. Like, no one's going to buy your Orient for $100 when you paid, you know, $120. Or I'm sorry, like they're not going to pay like asking price the same thing if they can go to Amazon and get it on sale for like $90.
Right, for sure. Yeah.
So that's where I'm kind of learning, like having a little more patience. And if I see a watch that I really like, I'll wait. I'll camp out the secondary markets, and then once I see it, a good example of it, I'll drop the money and pick it up. Because then I know if I go to resell it, I can probably break even or maybe make a little more on the side.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing lately.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
See,
that Brew watch is a good example because
That's
brew,
a nice looking piece.
It's it kind of, and that, like we mentioned the Monaco, it kind of gives me that vibe with that square cushion case. I saw it on eBay. I saw a few others, and they were going for a lot more. And this one in particular was like $400, and I'm like, dang, like $400. It's a good chunk of money, you know?
Right.
And then I was looking into it, and I went on the website, and they were selling for like $385 for a brand new one. And I'm like, okay, so it's a little bit more, but they were all sold out. But when I looked, and they had like 40 or 50 people watching this watch already, so I was like, dang, like this might not last too much longer. But the guy had, or gal, whoever was selling it, had the original strap, the beads of rice bracelet, which is $85 on the Brew website, and then an additional Brew leather strap. And so I'm like, oh, this is like 3 straps or 2 straps and a bracelet included, for $400. And so I immediately was like, if I regret it, I'm gonna learn an expensive lesson. But yeah, I snagged it, and I'm pretty sure I could sell that for more because of the extra stuff. But I'm not gonna sell it. It's a great watch.
So I was just gonna ask, how are you feeling about it now?
Yeah, I love it. You know, it hurt to park that money into a watch that I know if I didn't have such a large collection of watches, I'd be wearing that thing probably every day or near it. It's that nice of a watch. It's really cool. But because I have so many, it's kind of like, all right, I gotta give some love to this. You know, I haven't worn this in a while. Or hey, this company just sent this watch in. Let me give it some wrist time and try it out. So there's definitely it's not all, I don't want to say good or bad. It's just, you kind of lose that when you are running a YouTube channel. And I'm sure you've experienced this, and other content creators can relate. There's some points where you don't really get to enjoy the watch you may want to enjoy at that time, because you kind of gotta, you know, you don't want these companies waiting like for you to three months later to do your review or whatever. So I'm kind of going to that.
Oh man, you know what? Well, good luck, bruh. You know what I mean? Yes, it's fun. It's a funny thing. Like when people send you watches and you have to review them, and you have X amount of time, and it does take away from your actual collection. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whether it's a week, 2 weeks, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But you have to spend time with the watch that you review.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I totally understand it.
You do. And it's one of those, like, even if, like, I'll give an example with that Tissell, that Chase from All Things Random, he sent it in to me, and I sent him my Rokos R0108, the Starry Night dial. Yeah. And we kind of swapped for a bit, and he was like, he did his review, and he's like, hey man, I'm sending your watch back with this other one to check out. I'm like, all right. Well, I'm not done with yours yet, but if you need me to, like, I'll buckle down and get it my review done. And he's like, no rush, which is really cool of him. So I always appreciate that. But it's like, I gotta. So there's a level of kind of pressure or stress, even if it's not coming from the other party. Right. Yeah, for sure. You're still kind of like, I don't want to just be hogging up someone's personal watch either.
Right. But then you have personal things, videos you want to make for yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you may have a watch, I love this watch so much. I want to do this, but you can't because you have to do this. You know what I mean? Then by the time you get ready to do it, you like, just wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Put it on the back burner. Yeah. You know, it's rough, man. It's rough.
There's a balancing and juggle act to it for sure. But what about you? Like, have you bought any, because the Certina you bought new. And so for people that maybe don't know, or if they didn't watch the other video with Miguel, like, tell us about this Certina. Like, well, first off, it's a gorgeous watch, but what happened with it?
The story behind the Certina, me and Miguel, we talk a lot, and I don't know, he sent me a picture of it, like, check this out. And he always sending me shit. Right. You know what I mean? Like, look, check this out. You know what I'm saying? Blah, 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 blah. I know you will like it. So when he sent me the Certina, it was kind of like, huh. And then it was like crickets. And he thought that the phone had disconnected. He like, hello, you there? You there? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here. He like, you okay? I'm like, yeah. I never seen this watch before. You know what I'm saying? Now, I've heard of Certina, but the DS Podium, like, I've never seen it. And I'm like, like, this is one of the most beautiful watches that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the price they had it for, I think the regular price was like close to $800, and Joma Shop had it for like $300. So I'm just kind of like, I think I'm gonna get this because I instantly connected with it. You ever see a watch and you just instantly connect with it, and you have to have it if it's in your price range. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what it was like. So the next morning, I woke up and I had finally made the decision. I talked to my wife about it, of course. I'm going to buy this thing.
Yeah.
She's like, go ahead. You know what I mean? So
green light. Yeah.
Right. So I bought it, and it's $300 is a lot of money.
You feel it.
But I didn't feel it because I felt like I had made one of the best purchases of my life.
So there was no buyer's remorse.
There was no buyer's remorse.
I gotta have it, and it's good that you slept on it too, because that's how you can make some mistakes. And,
yeah, for sure. And I made mistakes like that, like just impulsive purchases. Yeah, you know what I mean. But I have never made a purchase where I may have had two watches, especially vintage watches that I bought that were like lemons. But everything else has been good. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, the two watches I think that I bought was impulse buys.
The lemons?
Yeah, they're lemon. They're done. You know what I mean?
Man. Yeah.
So, but I've had a pretty good run with them. But Certina, man, oh my God.
It's a great brand and awesome watch. That was Certina. Yeah, bring it up here on the screen. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, I like that strap too.
Yeah, nice. Shout out to Strapsco.
That's what's up.
You know,
it's like fitted curve strap.
Yeah, perforated rally. Yeah. I was gonna wear it, but I'm thinking like this is more like summertime. You know what I'm saying? Like
spring, summer.
Busted out. Yeah, man. But yes, sir.
Certina was one of those brands when I was looking for a watch to celebrate my 5-year wedding anniversary. You know, my wife and I were both like, "Hey, let's get something nice to kind of mark the moment." And she got a Cartier ring.
Oh,
yeah, she went really good on her pick. And I'm like, for me, it's kind of funny because we set a limit and I spent half of it on equipment I needed for my channel.
Right.
And the other half, I'm like, well, I still want to get something nice to mark. I don't want to get no $100 watch, to celebrate. So I was looking at Certina and I was looking at Mito, or Mito, I guess. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And then also at Frederick Constant. And I went with the Frederick Constant. And I'm glad I did because that model, I don't know if it's discontinued, but you can't find it. And it's actually gone up in resale price. So if not that I would sell it, but it's like, okay, I made the right choice because the Certinas I looked at and the Mitos, like you can still get them brand new at retail. Or retail, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Certinas, what's up? Yeah,
man.
They're good.
Man, telling you. And then she went and bought, she surprised me with a Hamilton. King, Khaki King, yeah. Yeah, man. And I'm like, oh, shit. So, and the story behind that one, it was supposed to come before Christmas, but because of the mail situation, you know what I'm saying? Postal workers not working, and it came after. So I was definitely waiting for that. So,
yeah, for sure. So I know we bounced around a little bit because we talked the vintage, your Certina, but did you ever tell me, was that all 6 of your picks for 21? Did we go over all 6?
Nah, I got 3 more.
Okay, let's hear it. Because I didn't want to forget. I'm going to tell you a couple of mine too. But all right, let's continue.
Okay, vintage King Seiko.
Nice.
Reference number 5626-7000.
Hold on. Let me look this up. All right, King Seiko. Go for it again.
5626-7000.
7,000. Okay, let's take a look.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got some Grand Seiko vibes right there.
Yes, sir.
King Seiko. Now these are a little pricey. Okay, this is a good
it's
pick.
A wish list, man. It's a wish list.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that watch is beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
If I could get one of these off of my list this year, I'd be fine.
Yeah,
I'd be fine.
Are these all in a white or silver dial, or do they have other colorways?
Just white.
Just white. Okay, that's all I was seeing in the pics. It looks good, man.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Nice.
And then probably the most expensive on my list is a vintage Breitling Navi timer, reference number 80190.
Okay,
and it's a quartz, but I don't think quartz get the love it deserves. But the Quartz Movement and the Breitling, I think, is great.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
it's funny that when you go from quartz only knowing quartz to mechanical, you're like, what was I thinking with this quartz trash? These are the sweep, the winding. They're just this kind of, I don't know. It's like you're finding something new, right? This new discovery. That's really not new. It's actually old, but it's just different. And then you go back, at least for me, I've kind of swayed a little bit back where quartz doesn't prevent me from buying and enjoying a watch anymore.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same way.
Yeah. Like if it's a luxury, I know Tag and there's a couple other brands that they have quartz variants. And like, if you love the watch, the quartz doesn't bother me. So,
It's kind of like the Tissot every time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, you could get the Swissmatic, but you can get it in quartz. And it's almost like, just the minimalist look that it has, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's a minimalist watch out there that can touch the Tissot every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. I think where it's, I don't want to say dangerous because nothing's dangerous in watch collect. I guess it could be, but I think that where there's a risk is settling for the quartz version when you really want the automatic. If you don't mind the quartz, hey, go for it.
Yeah, I don't mind. I didn't mind that. No, I don't.
But mind. If it's like, oh, I want this watch and the automatic is $4,000 more, I'll just buy the quartz version, and then you're not going to be happy. I think a luxury brand that comes to mind that does that is AP, and so you might get that Royal Oak quartz, but you wanted the automatic, and I think you might have some buyer's remorse there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you're going to do a quartz AP, you might as well do the automatic, the mechanical. You know what I mean? Like, that's, so.
That's kind of how I think that it could be a little risky settling in that sense.
Right.
So what's your last pick?
Oh, just something simple. Seiko SKX 007. That's it.
007.
Yeah, that's it. And it's amazing that I don't even have that watch. I never had one.
Yeah, you got like, I don't either. You know, and people, Brian, my buddy Brian Trump, he's always like, Dave, when you gonna get that Seiko SKX? You need a SKX. And I'm like,
everyone has an SKX. It seems like everybody.
I know I need one, and I've wanted one. I just, Mando Torres, Mando the watch guy, he's got an Instagram and YouTube channel. And a video he did recently, he was talking about the SKX, the 007, the 009, and the 013. And he was saying that it's hard for him to justify. It was hard for him to justify the price when they were less, and even harder now that they've gone up, because it's like, it's classic Seiko, right? You're not getting all of the top tier materials. And I can use my own. That Presage I have is a perfect example.
Beautiful watch.
Thanks, bro. But the fact it's $700 and has hard Lex crystal. Why? Like,
but it's crazy that the SKX was so affordable initially. But now that it's then hiked up in price, it's like, well, dang, I should have got it then, but you don't be thinking about that. You know what I mean? Because if I could have, I would have done it then. Instead of buying that Invicta, I would have got an SKS.
Yeah, I think it's one of these watches I'll keep on my radar, but I probably won't pull the trigger on until I can get a good deal. Because knowing what they used to be makes it hard for me to buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
For more,
for sure.
I'll hold out. Yeah.
Nice watch though. Nice watch. But that's my list.
Cool.
And like I said, if I could get one off this list, I'd be good for the year.
Those are great picks and plenty of time. So the year is young. So I'm sure you'll get more than just one off that list. No doubt.
We'll see. We'll see.
So I am, it's kind of funny because I'm really thinking my goals for 2021 is to buy my first luxury timepiece. And if I can, I'm going to try and get 2 of them, which means I'll have to hold out spending a little bit more to save up. So I might be buying some like less expensive options throughout the year. But I am debating between the Nomos, and I haven't decided which model Nomos. I really like the Tangente, which I have the Feist, homage of, but it's kind of like there's the Neomatic. There's a couple of others that have caught my eye. And a guy, and I think it was in the comments of a video, he might have been a live stream. He had mentioned like, you might get tired of the Bauhaus in terms of its simplicity. And I'm like, that's something to be considered, because it is a clean dial. It's a very, very Bauhaus, but is it something that I would get tired of, wearing daily or wearing often? So I got to weigh that option. The other pick that I have is a Tudor Black Bay 36 or the Tudor Black Bay 41. And what kind of led me to that is having that Tissel Explorer made me kind of appreciate for a daily wearing watch. Obviously, I'm not going to pay, what is it, $6,000 or $8,000 for the Explorer one, but the Black Bays go for between $2,000 to $3,000 depending which size. And I'm like, okay, that's more reasonable to save up for. But man, for a daily, I just can't decide if I want the blue dial or black dial. It's a gorgeous watch, and I know Tudor is one of those people hate on Tudor. People love Tudor. I
don't know why, man, but if I can give you a recommendation, I would say blue dial. Definitely. You know what I mean? Like that blue dial is smoking hot.
It is. It's a beautiful watch. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. There's some homages that I have my eye on too. And this year, the Feist has the green dial, which is the Glashütte Original, I think. And it just, to me, it kind of looks like almost like a reptile eye. Like it just has this really cool texture to it. But they don't have them available on Amazon, so I might just suck it up and buy it. I'm gonna actually reach out to the company and see if they'll send me one. But if not, I'll pony up.
I was thinking about a Tudor homage that Courgette got. It looked good, all black dial. I was actually thinking about that one. You know what I mean? So it's definitely
there's something to be said, and this can go into our next topic. We can talk about if you want an homage of a certain luxury watch, you can almost find it now easily. There's a few watches that I didn't think there would be homages of that they made homages of. But do you think that there's like a level of watch design fatigue specifically in the homage watch field?
Yes. One in particular that I'm thinking about is the Rolex Submariner. Classic look. Everybody's making one. Making one. You got Pagani design, you got Courgette, you got Bourget, Doge, Dula. Everybody's making a Submariner homage. And Victor got one. Everybody got one. You know what I mean? I love the design of the Submariner, but it's a design that I could do a little less without. You know what I mean? Like I would like people to get more creative with it. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna do a homage, do something that ain't been done since, like, let's say, like for instance, that Gerard Perregaux I'm looking at. You know what I mean? Like that would be great for someone to do. You know what I mean? But I know you had mentioned what was it, the Royal Oak? That's another one. So
it's funny because it's like, I'll give you like, this is the one that gets me is because the Submariner, I agree 100%, extremely popular to the point where it's like people are beating the dead horse, right? It's been done, and really all that's left to do is tweak it a little bit better. Hey, throw a ceramic bezel on that. Hey, let's put sapphire. Let's put a better movement. Put that 2.5x Cyclops on there.
Right.
So that's pretty much the only difference that I'm seeing is getting better quality builds, right?
Right.
But you could go with the Jeanot and get a $1,500 like really good homage. But I think for me,
like with the Pagani design, ceramic bezel, sapphire crystal, 316L stainless steel. You know what I mean? You're getting
$100,
$100. You know what I mean? So
they're
it's
killing
like,
it, man.
You know, is it a Submariner? No, of course it's not a Submariner.
Yeah.
We know that, but it's a lot of watch that you can't get at the same price point of a Seiko.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I see the appeal.
Yeah, I do too. I mean? And I would not hate on anyone for owning all of them. Do you? I'm guilty as charged as far as owning and loving homage watches.
Right. Yeah.
But I think one of the things that bugs me now that didn't used to, which is kind of funny, is the Mercedes hands on non-Rolex homages. So it'll be like kind of a unique dial, cool indices.
Yeah.
You know, just a nice coin edge rotating bezel, and then it has a Mercedes hand. I'm like, why? Like they're could have picked a lot of other hand shapes. So that's one that's been bugging me, and I don't know why. I guess maybe I'm seeing it as like, just leave those on the Rolex homages, you know?
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think what it boils down to is that you deal with watches and you know what you like and what you would want. You know what I mean? I think that's what it boiled down to. But interesting story.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever heard of Dakota Watch Company. They're in the malls.
Yeah.
They're in the malls and they sell watches. They sell their own brand of watch. Okay. And they bands and NATO straps, leather straps, whatever you want, they got. So guy I used to work with, he had on a Dakota watch, but it was like a Submariner homage. So that's a nice watch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what was interesting about it is, you know how we know it's a homage watch to the Rolex Submariner. He's know.
Clueless. Yeah.
Clueless. Totally clueless.
Yeah.
And that takes me back to another conversation of people who wear these things believing that they're actually wearing the real thing. You know what I mean? And this guy was like totally oblivious to what he had on. You know what I mean? So
he probably thought it was an original design from them.
Right, exactly. Yeah. He didn't even know. And when I told him, he was like shocked. Like, I ain't never seen a Rolex before. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I'm like, oh, I don't know who ain't never seen a Rolex before, but hey, you know. Yeah. So it was just real interesting, like seeing that and experiencing that for the first time, that someone didn't know what they actually had on.
Yeah. I think that's probably more common than we would believe, because I'll give an example of myself. That happened with me. When I got married, I was looking for some nice, I always like to buy gifts that are like have some sort of special meaning like, to them, not just, hey, here's a gift card, here's $100 or something. Like, so when I was getting all of my groomsmen, their kind of groomsmen gifts, I wanted to get something custom for each guy. So I didn't buy them all the same thing. And one of my buddies, I was like, I've never seen this guy wear a nice watch, like, or a nice looking watch. And so I'm like, let me get him a really cool, affordable watch that looks good. And I ended up buying him a Pro Diver.
I think I heard the story.
Did you? Yeah. So I bought him the Quartz version and like a smaller diameter. It wasn't real big case diameter. And like, I loved it when I saw it. I'm like, dang, this Invicta looks really good.
Right.
And not knowing it's a Submariner design.
Right. Yeah.
And he loves it. He still has the watch to this day and wears it. But I'm like, that's a subby homage, like just didn't know.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, when you gonna up your game?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I got you in the dough, but when are you gonna say, okay, let's go to the next level?
Yeah. So exactly. And that's where I think some people, where there's probably a level of acceptance is like the Steinhardts or the Jeannots, because it's not a cheap watch. It's $1,000, $1,500 watch or whatever. And it kind of gets a level of respect in the watch community because you got I guess, like a really good alternative to
right.
really good homage. You didn't just get the $100 Pagani design, you know, that everyone could get. So I think there's something to be said there about those specific watches too. I mean,
the Steinhardt is beautiful. The Ocean One, I think it is.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You know, I've actually contemplated buying one of those.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You know, so you know what? Let me put that on the list. But
put it on the list. Yeah, we're adding more.
right.
Doing more damage.
More damage. My wife is gonna kill me.
Yeah. But, stop talking to Dave and Miguel.
Yeah. Right. That's it. You're doing watches again, of course.
Right. Yeah, you know
what I mean? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But the Steinhardt, like that could be a real possibility this year.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
There's I will say there are some watches that I don't think will ever be homaged. And those are the high horology, extremely complicated design. So, like, I always use the example of the Zeitwerk, the Alanga. Like, you're not gonna. I don't think you would ever see an homage of that type of watch because it's just. I don't think it could be done. Not mechanically. You could maybe do a digital version, but yeah.
I'll tell you another one, the Jacob & Co. Astronomical.
Yeah.
You would never see a homage to that thing. Never.
I would. You know what, though? Like, maybe we shouldn't put it beyond these companies because did you see my video I did of the Hublot La Ferrari homage?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
It's like a $30 watch. It's right. Now, the Hublot is sapphire crystal case. Extremely complex motor and you know design, and it's just like it's so bad. I was like, this watch is just terrible, and I kind of knew it would be, but I was interested to see what does my $30 get me, and yeah, it wasn't good. But again, someone who doesn't know the Ferrari watch is just gonna see that and be like, that's a cool design. Let me pick that up for $30.
For $30.
Not knowing,
not knowing. But ain't that amazing though? Like what you know versus what someone else knows. You know what I mean? Like you'd be like, what the hell?
Nice $400,000 homage you got there.
Right. You know your watch is worth $300,000.
Right.
In another brand.
Yeah. The real one. And but you know, I can't bring myself to ever school someone on it. If they didn't know, I would. That's just not me. Like if they like the look of it, hey, do you? Like I don't.
Right. I mean, there are no situations that I have been in where I've seen a watch and actually been like, "Yo, you got on a homage." You know what I'm saying? Like, or you know, I'll look, replica. Right. I'll look, and then like if because I could spot a watch a mile away. You know what I mean? Like it was the guy. He was in PacSun in the mall, and he had on a Venom. I'm like, oh, that's a nice Venom. You know what I'm saying? His wrist was like that small though. The Venom looked that.
He was hanging over it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's a cool watch. You know what I mean? Just like the other day, me and my wife was at the nail spa, and guy had on a Cartier, and I instantly zoomed in on it. I posted the picture on my Instagram.
All right.
And I'm like, oh,
I saw that. Yeah.
I'm like, that's a nice ass Cartier, man. So when
she was getting her nails done or something, right?
Yeah. He was doing her nails.
Okay, and he had on the Cartier.
He had on the Cartier, you know, and I was like right next to him getting my nails done. You know how I do. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes, sir.
You know, and we had a conversation, and it was a cool conversation, but I can't see myself having that conversation if I see somebody with like a fake Rolex.
Yeah.
You know, or I don't know, just anything that's not interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I almost feel like if someone's wearing a fake watch, let me put it this way. If someone's wearing a counterfeit or a replica, they know it, and they're probably going to be hesitant to let you see it, let you hold it. Like, they'll just kind of be like, oh, yeah, it's no big deal, like, whatever. And beyond, you know, like, they're not going to want to talk, hey, what reference number is that? Hey, what, you know, that, like, let's talk, what any other luxury brands you're into, stuff like that. Conversate, you're going to know pretty quick, I think.
Right.
Whereas, like, I think it's harder to spot. Like if you saw like at a glance, you'd be like, dang, is that a Submariner? Oh no,
right.
Daytona. It's probably not. It's probably one of these other brands that you just, you know, but unless you get up close and look at it, or the person tells you, like, you're not going to really know. Whereas I know like a fun thing I like to do when before, you know, all the lockdowns and stuff is I'd be out in public, whether it's at church or at the store, and I would look at women's purses because I saw a video that's like was how to distinguish like counterfeit purses. Right. And so I'd be just staring. Yeah, that's a fake. And like, you know, cause like I would see the telltale signs.
I'm a pro at that.
Yeah, man.
I'm a pro at that shit.
But it's like, I won't be like, let me go tell them, or, you know, hey, that's hey, that you do like,
let them enjoy their stuff, man.
Let them enjoy it. It's just a purse.
Yeah. Look, man, I could spot a fake bag a mile away though.
Yeah. It's like so much easier because it's so much larger, you know? Like,
a mistake that I made this was years ago. My wife is like into purses. I may do her purse collection one day, you know what I'm saying? But she's like really heavy into like Dooney and Burke. Mm-hmm. And I knew this like years ago. Okay, cool. So I'm in a thrift shop one day. I buy the Dooney and Burke, right?
At the thrift shop.
$30. $30. I'm thinking I got a deal. It was for a birthday or something. Like the anniversary was something. I can't remember. So I had got it boxed up real good. I shined it up, cleaned it up real good and shit. So gave it to her, and she took it out and she looked at it just like this, and she looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, what? Dooney and Burke?
That's what you wanted, right?
Right. And she like, this is not a Dooney and Burke. I'm like, how you know? Because the duck is facing the regular way. The Dooney duck face backwards.
It's like, a Dooney and Burke. Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, oh, shoot. And she threw the purse at me. Get out of here with this.
Ain't fooling me.
Right. So I couldn't take it back, you know, because as is. So, as a matter of fact, it's up in the garage now. So I don't even know what to do with it. And they had it for about 20 years.
Yeah.
So
I had no idea that watches are the second most counterfeited, I guess, industry. The first being textiles.
Right.
So shoes, clothes, bags. That's where you got to be probably scrutinized the most when you're buying.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Man, and the watch stuff is crazy, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, replica watches are just so wrong. You know what I mean? And some of the practices behind how these things get made are like so wrong. And it's really sad. You know what I'm saying? But it's a market for it. And I've seen a few replica watches. You know what I'm saying? Never owned one. I don't think I've ever owned a replica. No, I don't think I've ever owned a replica. But I have a few friends that has worn replica watches.
I think it's easy. I think it's easy for most people to justify owning a replica, and especially if you're not into watches. If you're into the brands, I think it's easy to turn to look the other way and say, well, it's only $500. Like, it's fine. I'd rather buy this and have the brand on my wrist than open up the case back and see trash and realize like, oh dang, like this is not good. You know?
Yeah, but my thing is, why would somebody settle for that? If you spending $500 on a replica, there are a whole lot of great, again, Steinhardt, $500 something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get it at the market. You know what I mean? So
I think it's specifically the brand. It is let's look at homages. The reason we're okay with homages is because it doesn't say Rolex on it. It doesn't say Omega. And the finishing and the quality isn't the same. It's like you can clearly see a difference, right? But it's the replicas take it to the level of this is intended to fool other people. And again, what's to stop that person from trying to sell it as a real deal? And now you're talking criminal activity. So it's kind of like there's a completely different. It's just a fine line that once you cross it, it's so much worse than having that homage, you know, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah.
But I think they're okay with spending that extra money on it not getting a Seiko because Seiko doesn't get me the same recognition online or on Instagram that Rolex does, or any of these other brands.
Which I think is stupid, but
yeah, it's like, I think it's funny the Wish again. Josh, I know he knocked it out of the park with that Wish parody video he did on the Tudor. It's just, you're going to get these watches that have the brand name on it, and then it's quartz, like
yeah.
You realize you're quickly out of your money.
Yeah, but then what's crazy is okay, somebody buys a Tudor replica with a Quartz Movement, right?
Yeah,
and then somebody who knows that it's a fake,
they rock it.
Right. Like, what are you, Quartz Movement is, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was the first thing that I learned about watches years ago, like, especially like with Rolex and AP years ago, that although I didn't know the difference between mechanical and quartz, I knew that a Rolex didn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it, you know what I'm saying? I knew that back in the day. But, so if you came to me and was like, this is a real, no, it's not a real Rolex.
Yeah.
Because it's not a smooth sweeping hand. Second hand. You know what I mean? So, and shit, I was young when I learned that. So
yeah. I also learned that some brands grossly overcharge for watches that they have a quartz movement, and I feel like at the price point it should have a mechanical and automatic movement.
Right.
And you don't know that until you kind of learn watches. Like, there's nothing wrong with quartz, but I feel like for the money, I kind of know what I'm paying for. And a good brand example is the Movado. I just think they're overcharged for what you're getting, and you're paying for the brand, you're paying for the overhead, that shop to be in some mall somewhere.
Yeah. So, and Movado used to be great.
Yeah.
They used to be great back in the day. Like, I wouldn't mind owning a vintage Movado.
Yeah.
But like nowadays, like the ones you see like in Macy's and all these department stores, they don't even flash right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just like with the one diamond at the top, and you know what I mean? I see why they bought MVMT, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just so minimalistic. Like, I mean, it's to the point to where, like, you want to open it up and put your own stuff on it.
Yeah, let me put a second hand. Right. Let me add some indices. Like,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's their thing, right? Is that clean dial, and I get it. It's a aesthetic that a lot of people like.
Yeah, for sure.
I just feel like if someone came to me and they were like, "Oh, you like watch? You're into watches, right? Check it out. I just bought this brand new Movado." I'd probably be like, "I think you lost some money. Like, you should have got a used one, or I hope you never plan on selling that."
Yeah.
But there's a lot of brands that are like that, of course.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even some more popular brands, make watches like that. That's overpriced with quartz movements.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? See, that's why I like the Tissot every time, because I feel like that watch is priced perfectly.
Yeah.
For what you're getting. You know what I mean?
It's easy to justify. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I know that we will definitely be obtaining new watches this year. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'll be looking forward to seeing more reviews coming from your channel, P. Again, everyone that kind of joined our chat, because we're coming up on an hour. So thank you for taking the time. Yeah, I know it was quick, right?
Yeah.
So I was just going to say, like, make sure you go follow P. Ross. I'm going to link him up here again and then down in the description. So make sure you go send some love. I really want to get you to 1,000 ASAP. Right. And let's get you monetized.
We're at 800 now. So.
Yeah. Congrats, man. You're almost there. Heck yeah.
Almost.
It's going to happen. This is the year. I feel like 2021 is going to be the year of growth for a lot of us. And for all the subscribers and people out there, thank you for the support, because we couldn't do it without you. So much appreciated.
No doubt. And again, shout out to the Schwartz Force, and to everybody, let's just show each other love.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Show each other love. Let's put all that negativity of 2020 behind us. 2021, this is a new year, and let's just do it big.
There you go. Sure. I love it. Well said. Yeah. All right. Well, P, I'll have to get you on the channel again, and I'm looking forward to coming back to the podcast with you and Miguel. And then that way,
shout out to my man Miguel, SoCal Watch Reviews. Get into it.
There you go. All right, man. Well, thanks again. I hope you have a good rest of your week. And as always, may the Schwartz be with you. And it's a great day to wear a watch. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
Take care.
Peace.